What if I told you your Chihuahua sleeping next to you isn't just cute, but actually a deep psychological signal you're probably misunderstanding? Because that tiny dog curled up by your legs at 3 a.m., it might be revealing more about you than about them. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at that behavior the same way again.
Let's talk about something almost every Chihuahua owner experiences. Your dog refuses to sleep alone, on your pillow, under the blanket, pressed against your stomach like a tiny furnace. And most people think, "Aw, they just love me." That's partly true, but it's not the whole story. In this video, you'll discover what it actually means when your Chihuahua sleeps with you, from emotional bonding to instinct to hidden behavioral signals most owners miss. And some of it might surprise you.
It's not just love, it's survival instinct. Chihuahuas don't think like humans. When your Chihuahua sleeps with you, the first thing to understand is this. They're not being romantic, they're being biological. In the wild mindset of dogs, sleep is the most vulnerable moment of the day. So what does a tiny Chihuahua do? They choose the safest possible object in the environment. And in their world, that's you. Not your bed, not your room, you. Because your smell, your heartbeat, your warmth equals safety. Here's the twist though. This instinct can be so strong that some Chihuahuas panic if they can't physically touch you while sleeping. And that's where things start to get interesting.
The bond is stronger than you think. Let's go deeper. When a Chihuahua sleeps with you regularly, their brain starts building a pattern. You equals safety plus warmth plus survival. This is why they often follow you from room to room during the day and then demand closeness at night. But here's something most owners miss. They don't just get attached to you as a person, they get attached to your sleeping presence. That means your absence at night feels different than your absence during the day. Ever noticed your Chihuahua getting restless when you leave the bed, but they're still awake? That's not random behavior. That's emotional conditioning. And yes, small dogs like Chihuahuas tend to form extremely intense attachment patterns compared to many larger breeds. But that intensity can be both beautiful and tricky because now we're getting into dependency. And this is where most owners don't realize what's happening.
The hidden side. Dependency versus comfort. Let's be real. A Chihuahua sleeping with you every night can mean two very different things. Healthy bonding, overdependence. And the difference is subtle. Healthy bonding looks like they choose to sleep near you, but can still relax alone occasionally. They don't panic if you move away briefly. Overdependence looks like constant repositioning to stay physically attached, anxiety when you leave the bed, restlessness when separated, even in the same room. Here's the key insight. Your Chihuahua doesn't need your bed. They've learned to associate your absence with discomfort, and that learning can quietly build over time without you noticing. But before you panic, this isn't about fixing anything. It's about awareness, because the same behavior that shows love can also show emotional insecurity, and understanding the difference changes how you respond to your dog entirely.
Why they always choose your chest, neck, or legs. Ever noticed how Chihuahuas don't just sleep next to you? They pick specific zones: chest, neck, between legs, right against your stomach. That's not random. It comes down to three things. Heat regulation. Small dogs lose body heat fast, so they seek warm zones. Heartbeat recognition. Your chest area gives rhythm, and rhythm equals calm. Security positioning. They choose spots where they feel protected on multiple sides.
But there's another layer most people don't talk about. Chihuahuas often choose positions where they can monitor you while sleeping. It's subtle, but if you watch closely, many will position themselves so they can feel your breathing or detect movement instantly. That's not just comfort, that's vigilance. And it's rooted in how deeply they perceive you as their anchor.
Quick question, and be honest. Does your Chihuahua sleep fully relaxed, or do they constantly adjust to stay close to you? Drop it in the comments. I read them all, and it says a lot more than you think. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, you might want to subscribe, because we're going even deeper into Chihuahua behavior in a second.
The emotional mirror effect. Here's where things get really interesting. Chihuahuas are often described
as clingy, but that's an oversimplification. In reality, they're highly responsive emotional mirrors. What does that mean? It means they often reflect the emotional environment they live in, especially from their primary human. So when a Chihuahua sleeps with you every night, something subtle happens over time. They begin sinking to your emotional baseline. If you're calm, they relax deeper. If you're anxious, they become more alert. If your routine changes, they become unsettled. This is why some Chihuahuas sleep like absolute rocks with one owner, but act restless with another. It's not just personality, it's emotional calibration. And here's the controversial part. Sometimes owners unintentionally reinforce dependency, not through spoiling, but through inconsistency. For example, letting them sleep with you sometimes, but not always. Reacting strongly when they move away, changing sleep routines frequently. Their brain reads this as unpredictability. And for a small dog wired for safety-first thinking, predictability equals survival. So the sleeping bond becomes their way of stabilizing the world, not because they're spoiled, but because they're seeking emotional consistency.
So what does it actually mean if your Chihuahua sleeps with you? It's not just affection, it's instinct, bonding, emotional calibration, and learned safety association. In simple terms, your Chihuahua doesn't just sleep near you, they anchor themselves to you. And once you understand that, you start seeing their behavior less as clingy and more as deeply structured emotional logic.
The next time you feel your Chihuahua curl up beside you at night, don't just think, they love me. Think, this is the one place in the world where they feel completely safe. And maybe that says as much about the bond you've built as it does about them. If you want, I can also break down what it means when your Chihuahua refuses to sleep alone, and when it becomes a sign you should adjust their routine.
Thanks for watching. If your Chihuahua is curled up next to you right now, just know they don't see you as an owner. They see you as home.